Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and cut content is an interesting concept. We see it all the time in video games. Some things that were maybe not going to work out in one game get put on the shelf and then added to another game later on. A good example of that would be some of the maps from Call of Duty 4 that were originally going to be in there, like Invasion and Favela. Didn't make it for that game, but were later used for Modern Warfare 2 at launch, right? That's one example of cut content. Then you look at cut content across the board, right? And lots of musicians, they start songs and then just never finish them. You look at movies, they have ideas and scripts for movies that just never end up getting made. Same with books, and the same is true for YouTubers as well. As I'm looking at a notebook right here in front, I don't know if you guys can hear the paper. Apparently one night, this must have been a while ago, I wrote down, like physically in an actual notebook instead of my PC for some reason, everything I would do to fix Call of Duty, like what I would do for like a perfect COD. And I've been looking through this, and these are some good ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and basically just cover the entirety of what I would do to fix COD and what I would do for a perfect COD. And I'd love to hear what you guys think would make for a perfect COD down there in the comments. So this perfect COD, what would the setting be? How would it go? So it would be modern. I'd actually think that modern is the best setting for COD, because with a modern game, you have so much freedom to do whatever you want as compared to like being tied to World War II, being tied to the Cold War, or anything like that. Like futuristic games, it could be argued that futuristic games would be good as well, because you can do literally anything because it's the future, it's all make-believe. But I don't really care so much for that setting as much. I don't like the idea of like Infinite Warfare where we're on the moon using energy weapons. Like I like the game to be a bit more grounded, and with a modern theme, which is what we're getting this year ironically, you have room to do all the cool modern weapons, and then if you want to, why not, it's part of history, you can bring back some World War II weapons if you want. You can bring back some of those old school locations as well, but have them be adjusted for the time that has passed since like the Battle of whatever, Berlin or something like that. So I think a modern setting would be perfect. Obviously it would have a campaign, it'd have multiplayer, and it would have zombies as well as party modes. And because I'm a multiplayer focused channel, let's go ahead and see what I wrote down here for multiplayer. So multiplayer, I literally have a checklist: 20 prestiges with a master prestige at the end with 1,000 levels of master prestige. And next to prestiges, I put longer grind. I want the prestiges to take a little bit longer, because I think the idea for this game would be, it would be like Modern Warfare 2022, where it's going to be a game that lasts longer, right? It's a game that's going to have several years of a life cycle as compared to like, 6 good months of a life cycle before we all kind of just forget about it and we're all hyped up for the next game. I would want this to be a game that has a lot to grind for and a lot to do within the game. And part of that, the cornerstone, would be a traditional prestige system, which I really hope they bring back this year. I also have master prestige operators / camos. So big rewards, right? Cool things for actually achieving things within the game. I've talked about that so much here in the channel, but that definitely should be something that you get. Dark matter should be in there, and there should be 3 color variations of dark matter, just so you can like pick and choose what you kind of want. Like, who's to say the dark matter has to be purple? I mean, you look back at those what were they, the zombie camos in Black Ops 3, like you had like the amethyst, like the purple camo, then there was like a red one and a yellow one and a blue one and all that. Why not have like different color variations of dark matter and let people choose what they want? I mean, that seems like a no-brainer. That'd be pretty cool. 100%er, that needs to be in the game for sure, and there should be a badass operator that you unlock for getting 100%er. There should be an operator, a camo, there should be a whole set, like calling card, emblems, all sorts of stuff like that for doing 100%er, because if somebody takes the time to do every challenge in the game, you should get something for doing every challenge in the game. It should also be something that's really prestigious and worthwhile to make people actually want to go for it. And then once you get it, you should be satisfied with your reward, as compared to, Black Ops 4, for example, where you got an animated calling card and it looked like every other calling card in the game. Like, it was not distinguishable whatsoever. And then other CODs would even have anything for 100%er. So yeah, 100%er should be in the game, and there should be a badass operator camo set to kind of show off the fact that you achieved the biggest achievement in the entire game. At launch, I have 16 maps, all of them being original. I have 10 launch operators, because I think the operator system is actually pretty good. I think that people really like factions in their games, but I feel as though the customization of operators is actually pretty good as well. And in a modern themed game, having the operators just seems to work a little bit better than World War II, where you just have like 8 Polinas all facing each other for some reason on some random map in like the United States. It just doesn't make any sense, right? But the operators in a modern game make a bit more sense. So 10 operators at launch, and have the Black Ops 3 / Vanguard style where you can do challenges with each operator and level them up and do things like that, get cool skins. I have revamped pro perk system here. That's an interesting idea. because I feel as though pro perks are one of the best progression paths within COD, right? It kind of takes that RPG aspect of like your character physically like getting stronger as you play the game and level up and do more things. One of the big problems with pro perks back in the day was some of them were tied to specific game modes and specific challenges, like in Black Ops 1, to get Flat Jacket Pro, you had to defuse 5 bombs or plant 5 bombs, which that could be doable, but I think it was, what was it, Marathon? I think to get like a Marathon Pro in Black Ops 1, it might have been called Extreme Conditioning back then, I forget, but to get Pro, you had to capture 10 flags and capture the flag, and let me tell you, how many people are still playing Capture the Flag in Black Ops 1? The answer is 0. So it's literally impossible to find a lobby right now for Capture the Flag. Therefore, if you don't already have Extreme Conditioning Pro or Marathon Pro, whatever it was called, you physically can't get it anymore. You just can't. And it was also kind of annoying how whenever you prestige, you'd have to re-unlock all your pro perks. And I remember back in Modern Warfare 2, it was a pain in the ass to like get Ninja Pro. You had to get like 40 close range kills, but the range, like that counted as a close range kill, was basically just a melee, so the best way to do it was to use the default UMP45 class with attack knife and then just run around knifing people 40 times, and having to do that every single prestige just so you wouldn't get Sound Horde and Search, that was annoying, right? That part wasn't very cool. So we'd have to rework the pro perk system quite a bit. I think the idea of making the challenges longer but making the pro perks themselves permanent would actually be pretty good, especially when they add new perks to the game. It would add a bunch of extra variety and extra flavor to the game as well. Pro perks are just a cool idea. 15 streaks at launch, but they need to fix this fundamental problem that they have where every single year there's somewhat good streaks, but they're way too hard to earn. They're not as strong as they used to be, and they're easily countered by like a 4-kill streak. Like you look at the counter UAV in Vanguard, you look at the aerial assault or whatever it was called in Black Ops Cold War, which was like a 2,500 score streak that anyone could get all the time easily, and it would just instantly counter every single streak in the game. Like that was just... Back in the day, like one of the things that made me fall in love with COD, and I'm sure for a lot of you guys as well, were the kill streaks. They were actually super fun, like getting an AC-130, a chopper gunner, a Pavlo, a Harrier, like all attack dogs, like all these things. They were so much fun, and they weren't very easily countered. If you want to counter a chopper gunner, either you ran like Ghost to hide from it, or you tried to shoot it down with your launcher, which was, you know, doable, but it was a bit more dangerous as compared to just calling in the equivalent of an EMP. Like back in Modern Warfare 2, an EMP was like a 15 kill streak. Like it was hard to get an EMP. You know, you couldn't just counter everything very easily. You had to actually shoot the things down or hide from them. That made kill streaks more valuable. They made them more fun to use, and they were more rewarding. I want to go back to that. I don't know why in recent years they seem to think that kill streaks have to be ridiculously hard to earn, be weaker than their previous counterparts, and then also be easily counterable, because it just kind of takes kill streaks out of the game essentially, and then you're just playing run around shoot 'em up, which can be fun, but most of the time I don't think is very good. So I'd like to see something like a Moab come back. I think specialist bonus for Modern Warfare 3 should come back. I think there should be a high EMP streak in the game like Modern Warfare 2, but that should be the only streak style counter to other streaks in the game. And then finally, headquarters. Multiplayer 100% should have a headquarters of some sort. The headquarters back in World War II was so fantastic. It added so much to the game for me. It really did. I mean, looking back, it kind of felt like it might have just been a front to make people want to buy supply drops, but I didn't look at it that way at the time. At the time, I just enjoyed walking around with my character, with my Master Prestige set, with my Master Prestige camo, with my lobby leaderboard saying that I have way less of a life than anyone else in the lobby. Like, I love that stuff. The firing range being right there, the 1v1 pit, the Easter eggs to get on top of it and find the sledgehammer and the footballs and the kill streak place where you could test out every kill streak in the game. Like, the headquarters was cool. It was a really cool idea, and they should definitely expand upon it. But what's crazy to think, it's been 5 years, maybe even more, since that feature was implemented, and they've never done anything with it ever again, and that just doesn't make really any sense to me. I have some stuff here for campaign and zombies, but before that, we're going to be talking about more progression paths and monetization, because obviously monetization is a big topic in the COD community. Well, I feel as though this should be a premium title. I'm talking like $60 to $80 to buy this game, and it should have a battle pass in my opinion, but I would love to see that battle pass be seasonal and free. You should not have to buy the battle pass. You should be able just to grind through it and choose to pay to advance if you want, because you know Activision's gonna be like, well, we need to make more money somehow. Well, make it so people can buy tiers of the battle pass if they want, but make it so the battle pass itself is free for everybody, 100 tiers, and have no filler bullshit. I actually wrote down literally all of this, so I'm like, 3 weapons would be sick, 1 to 2 operators, and then Fortnite style skin progression, where maybe you get like a certain skin at tier 1, that skin kind of evolves over time and you get better better skins as you go. Watches, themed camos, weapon variants, death animations like Black Ops 4, kill streak skins. I don't know why we never really had those, but kill streak skins would be pretty cool. Like make your chopper gunner looks different. That'd be interesting. Announcer packs, new perks, new streaks, emotes like we had back in Blackout, not just really shitty ones like we have in more current games. Warzone drop trails, parachutes, vehicle customizations. Basically no filler bullshit. It's literally written down right here. I think that'd be good. I think that would actually be a really good system, because as multiplayer has been laid out, like as I've described it right now, you have a game that has a ton of weapons, it has a ton of kill streaks, that has 16 original maps at launch with more maps coming out afterwards, and they can throw in some remasters every now and then as post-launch content, but 16 original maps at launch, 10 operators, 15 kill streaks, awesome 100%er, awesome dark matter, 20 prestiges, as well as master prestige rewards for people that get to the very end of that long grind, and these rewards are actually decent and fun to use. And then also here I have a bunch of other stuff, like random remasters with maybe community voting to pick what remasters end up coming out, party modes with their own currency, similar to how the old COD point system used to work, and then set super high and low cost rewards you can purchase with that currency, like different operators, different skins, different camos, and maybe a special prestige master icon that is like a money sign or something like that, which is similar to the currency itself. Like the old COD point system had like its own like symbol almost. So what if you got like a fancy golden version of that for buying, you know, having like 5 million COD points or whatever it would be in the game for playing party modes like gun game and sharpshooter and one in the chamber and things like that. That'd be super cool, I think. I mean, it would add this whole extra layer of progression to the game, while at the same time adding party modes back to the franchise, and also making those party modes relevant, because the currency you earn within the party modes is going to help you unlock other things, maybe similar to what you would get from the prestige shop in more recent Call of Duty titles. I think that sounds great. I think that sounds fantastic. There is so much to work for here. Constant updates, new maps every couple of months, new guns every couple of months with the new battle passes and stuff. That just sounds fantastic. It sounds like a game that I'd want to grind all day and night. But of course, Call of Duty is not just multiplayer, so let's talk about campaign. Campaign really quickly here, make it 4 to 8 hours. I hate when campaigns are like 12 hours, because most of the time they're boring. Most of the time it's just endless waves of shooting things and sneaking around and stuff like that. Campaigns really aren't for me, but I think they should have a special operator for finishing the campaign that would be an iconic character. So when you see that character in multiplayer, you're like, hey, that dude beat the campaign. That's the only way to get that operator. And make it like Woods or Price or, you know, some iconic character from the campaign, but then have different themes of that operator based on the difficulty that you beat the campaign with. So maybe these are just random numbers, but let's say there's like a green theme to your character that you unlock for being in the campaign if you do it on easy or normal mode. Then have like a blue theme maybe if you beat the game on hardened, and then have like this animated badass like really cool looking one if you completed the campaign on veteran. And then, of course, if you beat the campaign on veteran, you unlock the previous tiers. You know, that would be super cool. I think that would be so cool, because when you see that character in the game, you're like, oh, look at that. That dude actually did a thing. Kind of the same way back in Black Ops 4, if I'm playing multiplayer and I see somebody running around with the numbers skin, I'm like, well, look at that. My dude plays Blackout, you know, and he plays Blackout quite a bit to unlock the number skins and do things like that. So having different things to kind of show off for things you do within the game across all levels of the game would be sick. I mean, if you're playing Warzone and you get 100 wins in Warzone, you should get something cool for that to reflect the fact that you have 100 wins in Warzone. You know, and the same is true if you do something cool in the campaign, you beat the campaign, maybe do some challenges in the campaign, you should be rewarded for that, so you can show off the time that you spent and your skill as a player, and then show it to other people. Other people can see that and it can feel rewarding. That's the whole point of online games, right? So that'd be pretty cool. And then when it comes to zombies, I have a lot actually here for zombies. Launch with one big map plus Easter egg. So that's pretty standard. And then finish first map Easter egg for an operator, kind of like a boss skin. That actually, yeah, like the warden. It's weird, I'm reading my own notes here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this video. It's definitely a very different format than what I usually do here. But so finish the first map Easter egg for an operator. So picture, just, you know, for example purposes here, picture the first map being like Mob of the Dead. Right? And if you beat the Easter egg, like the main story for Mob of the Dead, you unlocked the Alcatraz Warden, which was I think a battle pass skin for Blackout back in Black Ops 4. Imagine if you got that operator, you got like the Warden operator for finishing the Easter egg. Like you actually got something for doing the Easter egg besides maybe a calling card. That'd be pretty cool. Tons of long-term progression challenges, like, you know, stuff you earn for getting 100,000 kills, rewards for consuming X amount of perks, getting X amount of kills with wonder weapons. Basically just have tons and tons of challenges. Basically a Zombies 100%er that also has a badass operator at the end of it and a badass camo and a whole set for doing every challenge within Zombies. Maybe something like John or Jane Doe, which is, again, going back to Blackout, but, you know, having cool things that you get for doing 100%er in Zombies as well. It also says here, launch with 2 remasters. So we have like an original big map with an Easter egg right there at launch, but also launch with like 2 remasters, like Shinonuma and Doris, for example. And then perhaps have no Easter egg, but variety is good, plus special camos and emblems and calling cards and things like that for doing map-specific challenges. So that actually sounds like a good idea. Zombies maps themselves take a lot of work. There's lots of scripting, lots of voice acting, custom animations, things like that. So have that all that work be front-loaded into the original new map that comes out at launch, but then have 2 remasters there as well that maybe don't have a full-on Easter egg, but they're just different places to play zombies. Like if you want to grind zombie challenges or zombie camos, you probably don't want to do it on the same map over and over and over, right? Variety is nice. It's also fun to take a trip down memory lane and play on an old map as well. So launch with 2 remasters that don't have like a main story or an Easter egg, but also have that original map at launch that does have the big Easter egg and the story and things like that. And then as the game progresses, add a new main map every few months with a new Easter egg and a new operator and new challenges and things like that. And in between the big maps, just remaster older ones with challenges that you can have there. And obviously Dark Aether should be there. The story should make sense, which a new story would be nice where it doesn't start at the creation of the universe. And then separate level system with rewards. I think that's a big thing as well. Having a separate leveling system and a separate like reward system between campaign and then zombies and then multiplayer and then party modes is fun. Sometimes it's fun to do like a universal rank. At first I really did like the idea of a universal rank within, was it Modern Warfare 2019, where stuff you did in one game counted in the other games and stuff. But having separate ranks, I think for me personally is better, because if you play the game a lot, eventually you're just gonna unlock everything and then you're just done, because everything you do in the game all goes towards that one unified level. Whereas if you have a multiplayer level and a zombies level, you know, you can, there's pros and cons to it, I suppose. It will feel bad if you're leveling yourself up in zombies and, like, you know, you're prestige master in multiplayer, but you're only like 3rd prestige in zombies. That was my case in Black Ops 4. But I feel as though if you combine everything, then you're going to very quickly get to the end of those 20 prestiges. You're going to hit that master prestige and then be done. I don't know. I'm kind of like talking myself out of that idea of having a separate leveling system, because the separate level system in Blackout was good for some reasons and bad for others. So I'd have to think a bit more on that, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about a unified leveling system versus like a, you know, separate leveling systems down there in the comments. But yeah, there we have it, guys. That is all I wrote down here. I just took up 2 pages in this notebook writing down these notes, and to kind of quickly cover on it once again, it'd be a modern themed game that would have a life cycle of like 3 to 5 years. That'd be freaking awesome. And it would start off with 16 maps at launch, 15 kill streaks at launch, 10 operators, 20 prestiges. There'd be dark matter 100%er, there'd be free battle passes, and the party modes with its own currency, like the Black Ops 1 COD point system, and then zombies and campaign and all that. And just, that seems like the perfect game to me. It really does. Monetization is obviously going to be a big question. Like, will there be a shop? No. In my perfect COD, there would not be a shop for people just to go buy the coolest looking stuff in the game. Like, I would want things to be earned within the game itself. Actually feel good when you unlock a camo, actually feel good when you unlock an operator or a skin for an operator or so on, right? As compared to just swiping your credit card. And there's something to be said for people that, like, well, they have more time than money, or the people that have more money than time. Like, there's always like that balance. Like, people in their 30s, for example, may be more willing to just drop some money on the game so they can skip all that playing, but that defeats the point of the game, in my own personal opinion. Like, if you want to look cool and be cool and have awesome things within the game, you should have to play the game, at least to some extent, right? You shouldn't just be able to buy everything like we have in more recent COD titles, where the stuff that you can actually earn looks like ass, and then the stuff you can buy looks freaking incredible. Tired of that. Hate that so much. Just, it goes against like the fundamental aspects of like gaming to me. Like, gaming is about enjoying the game, enjoying the grind, getting better at the game, and then possibly, if depending on the game type, showing off the things that you did in the game with cool rewards that you got. And I think we've been lacking a lot of that in the Call of Duty franchise. I think we've been lacking a lot of progression paths. I think we've been lacking a lot of rewards. And every year COD comes out, it promises to be good, and then it isn't, and then we're left in this spot where it's like, maybe it'll get better, maybe it'll get better, and then it doesn't really get better, and the stuff to grind for in the game, like the stuff that's supposed to keep you there and playing, which is like what actually, they care so much about monthly active users, yet they do nothing to actually make it so, you know, people want to sign in daily, monthly, weekly, or whatever, and actually keep grinding the game. Like there's a new season, which is part of the monthly active user thing, but the new seasons themselves are typically just falling apart. Look at Vanguard, for example. Like, they're just, it's so counterintuitive, like the way they're handling things, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm no game developer. I'm just some idiot that writes stuff down in a notebook several months ago and then forgets about it, and then realizes when he finds a notebook that, hey, I had a whole video here I was going to make, and I forgot all about it. And then I made it by reading a notebook to you guys. So... what do I know? But for me personally, that's what I would like to see happen to the Call of Duty franchise. And I would love to hear what you guys think would go into the perfect COD down there in the comments, because I'm sure I forgot a lot of things. I'm sure you guys have a lot of amazing suggestions. So I'm definitely interested to read the comments on this one. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.